We're here in Building 50, a brand new building for you, with Mike Torres from Windows Live Movie Maker. And we thought we'd come over and just kind of see how things. You just released your 1.0 version a couple weeks ago.
That's right.
So we thought we'd touch bases with you and see how things are going and what you think and what you want to talk about Windows Live Movie Maker. Sure. So if you can just kind of start off with, for those of you who don't really know LiveSide all that much, haven't followed us, Mike Torres is a longtime LiveSide friend. We was with Spaces for quite a while. Mm-hmm. Maybe if you can just kind of give us a little Microsoft history.
Sure. I joined Microsoft in January of 2003, and I worked on our back-end services for a while, about a year and a half or 2 years, which are really the things that power things like the permissioning infrastructure on SkyDrive and across the web suite. And then after some time there, I ended up moving over to the Spaces team and sort of joining that incubation project before it shipped, and played a part in kind of the Spaces rollout and the first few releases of Spaces. And last year we ended up kind of refocusing our efforts around social networking, which you've talked to people like Jeff Cunnins and Omar Shaheen about, which were really about becoming a bridge and a connectivity piece for all social networks, and really becoming that kind of aggregate. And so I worked on that last year, and then about the end of last year, I ended up moving over to the Movie Maker team. I think it was in October, November, right around the time that the public beta, the second public beta went out. And so that's about the time I joined, and have since been working on Movie Maker on the team we call Digital Memories.
Okay, cool. So you come over to Movie Maker, and it's a brand new product. Can you talk a little bit about, really under the hood, what is different between, is it all brand new? Can you talk about what we're looking at now?
Yeah, every single line of code, I believe, is actually brand new. So the Movie Maker product was really, the revamp started a little over 2 years ago. I think it was about 2 years and 3 or 4 months ago. And the idea being that we really wanted to, first of all, make it a lot more performant. I think that's a Microsoft word, but really make the performance better. And really take it to the masses in terms of really lightweight editing and really kind of quick storytelling, as we like to say. Less about movie making, which is kind of funny given the name, but really more about high-level storytelling and how do you string things together in kind of rich ways without having to be an expert in editing lingo and editing terminology. And so what we did, I wasn't a part of the team at the time, obviously, but the team kind of revamped the engine piece from the ground up, and that is all based on DirectX technologies. And then as part of that, we also kind of revamped the user experience. And so the user experience, as you know, from Windows Movie Maker and Windows XP and in Vista, did not have the ribbon interface or sort of that live preview that we have in the ribbon and the things that the ribbon can afford. And so what we really tried to do with the application is make it a lot more approachable and understandable for people just opening it up. And at the same time support a ton more file formats, a ton more codecs, and higher stability and higher reliability throughout the application.
Great. Yeah, one of the first things I noticed, and I'm using this little Sanyo video recorder, which records an MP4, and had to go through a bunch of hoops to get it to WMV, to get it to be able to upload to Soapbox and all those kind of things. And now it's it's just right there.
Yeah, that's actually a thing. I monitor the Twitter feed for the term Movie Maker, and it's really funny to watch. So many people have trouble with codecs and file formats. So many people. It's really, I think, not just on Twitter, but it's the #1 customer feedback and support issues that we see. And so, what we wanted to do with Windows Live Movie Maker is take the majority of that kind of out of question, so that we didn't have. You didn't have to worry, well, wait, do I have to transcode this into another format? Do I have to deal with some sort of third-party tool before I can get it into Movie Maker, and then deal with some third-party tool once it comes back out? So on Windows 7, we take advantage of all the inbox codecs to support things like video from the iPhone, video from the Flip Minnow, video from AVC HD camcorders, video from AVC HD Lite point-and-shoot cameras, and things like that.
Okay. And this is a fairly naive question, but one of the things that I just saw some feedback on is that in going out to DVD, you're using Windows DVD Maker.
That's right.
Apparently, that's kind of slow. Is that?
Well, we have to transcode the video from Movie Maker to DVD Maker, and then DVD Maker has to encode to DVD, and so it does. There is a multi-hop process in that we're looking to improve on in the future. But that is one of those things. DVD Maker obviously is a part of Windows 7 Home Premium and above, I believe, in Windows Vista Home Premium and above, and so we didn't want to go rewrite an entire new DVD making application. We wanted to really build on the power of DVD Maker, and so in order to do that, we had to kind of work through the steps to get the file from Movie Maker into DVD Maker and then onto DVD.
So let's just talk a little bit. You're a product manager.
Program manager.
Program manager. And let's just talk a little bit about what your day is then. What do you do? What did that mean to you coming over to the Windows Live Movie Maker team, and what were you responsible for?
Well, the program management is a pretty broad thing. It's very different depending on which team you talk to. Within the Windows organization, which consists of Windows, Windows Live, and Internet Explorer, program management is very sort of a specific thing. It's not all things to all people. Program management is very much about kind of deciding and working with the engineering team and the product management team and our marketing teams to decide what we do. There's a lot of different ways to describe that, but the way that I've heard it best described is that program management is kind of responsible for shipping the right thing at the right time. So that it's kind of the highest level way to explain it, but when you kind of look across all of the things that program management does, interfacing with all these different teams, helping define the vision and the strategy, competitive analysis, all the way down to helping look through bugs and prioritizing bugs with the development team and the test team, and deciding, working on the schedule and kind of how we're going to get from point A to point B. When you think about all of that stuff, I think the easiest way to describe it is just how do you ship the right thing at the right time, because that really does kind of crystallize things pretty quickly into. You don't want to ship the wrong thing at the right time, and you don't want to ship the right thing at the wrong time. So the easiest way to describe it is that, I think. So on a typical day, my days vary quite a bit, actually, from depending on where we are in the cycle. If we're kind of in the pre-planning stages or in the brainstorming phases, we spend a lot of time at whiteboards and with sticky notes and in OneNote and over email and kind of collaborating and coming up with kind of blue sky vision and trying to think of what the next kind of areas we're going to invest in are. If we're in execution, we do a lot of installing the builds and providing very targeted feedback to the developers and to test about how we're going to approach things, why we're going to make a change, how we're going to tweak things. Spending a lot of time on competitive analysis and understanding the competition as well. And then near the end, it really comes down to really landing the plane. And making sure that when we land the plane, we're not going to lose rubber off of the tires. We want to make sure that we come in to a very stable landing of the software, which is always a challenge, no matter what you're doing, and it's just the nature of software. And so, program management kind of plays a glue role throughout that whole process.